wish I had gotten a picture when it was snowing.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Wow, it's good. It looks like a lot of people.
Hey, why are you guys marching today?
Democracy Spring, trying to get an end voter suppression. We want free and fair elections. We're in a situation where our democracy is in pieces. Similar to the hail pieces that just fell upon our heads as we walked our 110th mile on this 140-mile march from Philly to DC. And we were not going to stop there. When we arrive in DC, we have over 1,000 people confirmed to put their bodies on the line. To ask Congress either support us and take immediate action to end big money corruption and establish free and fair elections, or you could arrest us. And we're willing to say that, in fact, we know that it's a tradition in this country that in order to make change happen, we have to put our bodies on the line. And we know that that's going to inspire more people to come down and support us.
Can you give me an example of that?
We think that Selma's a great example of that. We think Birmingham's a great example of that. When you have to enter, there comes a time in certain points of history where you have to enter into the moral consciousness that certain things are not okay. When black children were being hosed down in the streets, it took that for the nation to say, I don't want my country to be standing for that. And I cannot stand for a police force that's going to hose down our black children who have walked out of school in protest of not having voting rights, of not having equal rights in this democracy. And so we saw that happen, and what we saw is when the active opposition got really, really violent and disgusting, we were able to capture that for the national stage. People gasped, and people could not be a part of that. And they started actively supporting the movement. Within 12, 18 months, the Voting Rights Act and Civil Rights Act of 64 and 65 were passed, and history was written. Now, since then, we've had four decades and some change of backlash from that, and we're at devastating states of inequality that's highly racialized, when for the past 2-3 decades we've been rampantly and systematically caging up our black and brown people in this country, systematically deporting the folks who have come here for some safety and some refuge. And so we're here, still marching through the hail, through the storm, over 100 miles in, ready to set an example for this country, for this world. And we do believe that we're supporting a movement of movements. That is to say, this is going to support other popular movements to do what they need to do. So when we have big money corruption, we know that that involves the Corrections Corporation of America. We know that they're in cahoots with the DEA. We know that we can work on that mass incarceration issue if only the corporations didn't have the stranglehold that they do have on our politicians. We know how legislation is written by lobbyists, highly paid lobbyists. We know that they're working for these places like the CCA, like the NRA, and countless others in the fossil fuel area of work. In all these areas, we know that we're going to be fighting. We know that this fight is for immigrants. We know this fight is for undocumented people. We know this fight is for poor people, and for queer people, and for black people, and for the most stepped on people in this democracy and in this country. And we are just filled with excitement, filled with love and compassion, and just really eager to arrive and descend on DC and see the public galvanized, see the support galvanized, see the public opinion shift dramatically in this hotly contested primary race to the point where we'll have hundreds, if not thousands, arrested on Monday, April 11th, when Congress does not take immediate action on big money corruption, does not take immediate action on voter suppression. And we know that we're going to stand up for the gutting of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that happened and was swept under the rug in 2013. We're out here for Flint, we're out here for Arizona, we're out here for Freddie Gray, and we're really excited to be doing this and to be helping to support and bring back into the fabric of this society the culture of protest, the culture of civil disobedience.
What's your first name, and will you participate in the sit-in and risk arrest this week?
Yes, my name is Dylan Lazaro, D-Y-L-A-N Lazero. I'm on the national field team as an organizer. I will sit in, I will risk arrest. It will be my first civil disobedience. It will not be my first time getting arrested. That is to say that this country is rampantly and rapidly and systematically policing us in unjust ways across the board. I'm excited to be planning this, to be working with some of the people who I'm learning from in order to figure out how I can do the most that I can do with this body, with this mind, with these hands, with the love that I have in my soul. Thank you.